secular Christianity.
Okay.
In this specific instance,
Hmm.
we can distill it even further down to hip hop Christianity. And I will go ahead and coin that term. You heard it here first.
Secular Christianity is not even a term that I've even heard even put together
This is why we're introducing it.
because it's
We
two.
this
It's
is
like
what we do. This is our
two
job
sides of
here,
opposite.
Challenge Day.
Opposite. Okay.
To challenge your way of thinking and introduce some new concepts to add a dimension
I've
to it.
I've
We're
heard
not
it in
changing it.
I've heard it in the context of like lukewarm Christians, right? Like
Yep.
living a secular lifestyle. So
Yep.
that's what immediately registers in my mind, like someone who's like lukewarm.
Mm-mm.
But I'm
Different.
but I mean, yeah, I'm curious to hear what your take on it is. But go ahead.
Secular Christianity is a perspective that acknowledges the reality of the secular age and works within it. It can also refer to a variety of
Yeah.
Christian theological movements that have merged in response to dissatisfaction with the Christian establishment.
Okay.
It's a movement that rejects the concept of a personal God and views Jesus Christ as a mythological figure. It also suggests that the church does not have exclusive rights to divine inspiration. I think I identify, I can, or at least I can relate
Mm-hmm.
with secular Christianity. I think a lot of times we talk, you and I, and just throughout the podcast for different instances, and it's become self evident that like a lot of times some of the positions that I take or some of the framework in which I dissect a problem or
Mm-hmm.
an event
Mm-hmm.
is through the lens of my background. I grew up in a church,
Yeah.
and there's some things I take it, some things I leave it.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's like this anchor point
Mm-hmm.
to like this reference point, and I have to consciously be aware of okay, that's what that's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make a decision if you like agree with that perspective or you like something like the golden rule: do unto others as you have them do it to you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or even like thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even something like the story of the Good Samaritan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of these stories they still speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a foundation where the message that they are portraying resonates with me.
Yeah.
Secular Jew is a term that I think more people are familiar with. There's a lot of Jewish people that are not like on all of this like specific Sabbath thing and
Okay.
like reading the Torah and doing, but they're like, but culturally they're Jewish.
Mm.
They eat certain foods, they observe certain holidays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They approach life in a certain from a certain angle.
Mm.
Um, that's what it would mean to be secular Christian.
Okay.
And with GloRilla having Kirk Franklin on the same album, where she later talks about
Her Frank is a weirdo,
how she's
anyways.
dickmatized. On the very next track, she
Mm-hmm.
mentions her being dickmatized,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like right after Kirk Franklin is on the
Not only
previous
Kirk
track.
Franklin, Kiera Sheard and Maverick City. Yeah. It. I'm not a fan of like these crossovers that I see when this happened because this has been happening more
But Kirk
often.
Franklin may be like,
But
yo, I gotta go get the sheep where the sheep at.
Kirk
Maybe.
Frank, I mean, Kirk Franklin has been doing questionable things for a while anyway. So that to me is not surprising with Kirk Franklin. He's a bit of a weirdo, but there are crossovers that I'm not really fond of. Like there was a crossover one time with Nicki Minaj and Tasha Cobbs, and I was like, like I understand the motivation. Like I understand the motivation, but I still don't like it. Like it's there's still something in me that like it still doesn't sit well with me fully, right? But I understand the motivation though because at the end of the day, the people that we encourage to come to church are people who are like sick people.
Come as you are, right?
Come as you are.
All
Like,
right? Come
yeah,
as
these
you are.
and like the gospel is really the gospel for real when you go into the world and you're preaching it, right? And you're being that example, right? That's really where you truly see the power of God. So it's like, yeah, you have to go to where the sinners are. You have to go to where the people who are not living right are. So I understand. So that's why I say I understand the motivation, right? But there's like
7 p.m. Friday. I agree. I ain't got no day.
so, and I'm just like, bro. So when because of course this has been like a topic that people have been talking about in the Christian circle, like, because we are aware of this track, right? So like,
Yeah.
so I was just like, it's still there's still a part of me that like it's just something that just doesn't really sit right with me when I see some of these crossovers. But again, like I said, I understand the motivations, and that's just kind of like where I conclude on that matter. So, but that's all I got to say about that.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
But all that to say that don't take GloRilla lightly. Even when
that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you. Do you think she can rap, like rap? And you said she can rap. So I don't know, man. Because I
think she can rap. I think she's coming from mommy's coming from Tennessee.
From
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis got rappers. Yeah, Memphis got rappers. So she should
Memphis got some rappers.
Yeah,
and she is representing Memphis heavy.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I don't know, bro. I'll take your word for it though.
How about this? Okay. For context and for historical value, I've always mentioned how when you look at some of the album covers, you can look at the album cover and be like, oh, they're just trying to sell sex. They're just trying to sell sex.
I see where you're getting at. I already see where you're getting at.
Look at her album cover, dog.
Yeah. I peeped that actually. I was like, I can respect that actually. That's respectable.
That bitch is basically a glamour shot. It's a glorious
shot. It's a headshot. Yeah, it's just a headshot. Yeah.
And look close at the earring.
Yeah, I see the cross there and all that. Yeah, I mean it's obvious.
And off of a shot, not an explicit cross.
Yeah.
But like an abstract cross that's there. I think she did that intentionally. I think she did that on purpose. I think we need to take GloRilla seriously. That album, everything, her mixtape, that was a dope mixtape. And I think this is just more like this album Glorious is more like a refinement of it.
It's a lot of people say that this is actually her best work.
I think she should be taken seriously.
She low-key, she's been getting some really good reviews for this album. So like, I'm like, maybe, I don't know. She might be the real deal. She might be the real deal.
It's not, and I'm not saying this is a Christian rap album. I'm not saying
yeah. It's not because I don't like I said, I don't really listen to this type of music, but I can respect like if you getting busy,
rapping, dog,
and you rapping, like I can respect that. Yeah. I can respect talent if the talent is really there for it. Like if there's real legitimate talent, I can respect.
And the interesting thing is that she's not on like specifically like a Rhapsody kind of conscious rap kind of thing.
She's from Memphis. I wouldn't expect that, honestly.
Memphis
has they have like a
gritty.
They're gritty, yeah. That's just
they're gritty.
So that's kind of what I expect from Memphis, yeah.
And she holds down that legacy. They can be proud. The Memphis rappers that that came before can be proud that they got them one. You know what I mean? And GloRilla is that way. She's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, she's tiny. She's 5 foot. She's
tiny little thing.
Yeah,
freaking like speaking some heft into the game.
When people think of Memphis, one of the first people that come to mind is Project Pat. Like we all know, Project Pat was like Project Pat is a Memphis legend. Like he hard, and now he's a pastor, like a legit full, like he's a pastor for like good, like so like, this is from the gutter Project Pat. Like so it's kind of interesting. Like it's but the thing, even with Project Pat, people know that but he also was like a guy who was, the church was a big thing in his life. Like we knew that about Project Pat. So I mean, you might be but
every once in a while you run into one of those, like, man, I was talking about Lil Yachty, you know what I mean? I never thought I would fucking be into Lil Yachty.
Yeah.
Until I realized that musicians can come up from any freaking like concrete. That rose can rise up.
They really come from anywhere, for real.
They really come from anywhere, and you just gotta you just run into them, dog. You the lucky one. You run into them, like, oh snap. Like I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have thought. Like especially in the environment of a lot of what Megan Thee Stallion leads into. Even though I think she's a good rapper too,
Mm-hmm.
but like sometimes she's like really leaning more into just like yo, I'm just trying to get the bag, so I'm just gonna do like the easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That girl is extra raunchy, bro. She
you know, you know, of course, like I keep mentioning this fucking sexy red
yeah, that
and
girl
some
is
of these like what do you call
that
them?
girl is
These
done.
what the hot
Yeah.
girl summer thing? What my
Oh, the city girls, yeah.
city girls.
Yeah, they
You know what
just
I mean? And
yeah,
some of the
basically
stuff they
they're
you know stuff
glamorizing
they do.
prostitution
So
pretty
it's
much what they
like
do. Yeah.
that's really what they do, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And it's like there's some of these artists out there, especially when it comes to female artists, like when it comes to rappers that are still like yo, I I think Lauryn Hill would endorse GloRilla. I think she would endorse GloRilla.
Come on, bro. You gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill, bro. Come on, bro. Like Lauren Hill will endorse Rhapsody, but GloRilla, bro, you tweaking, bro.